After 20 years of occupation and $2 trillion, Afghanistan is right back where it all started from, under Taliban control. In fact, whereas the Taliban never managed to gain control of all of Afghanistan previously, today it has control even in the strongholds of the Northern Alliance. Association with the US occupation has in fact left the Northern Alliance weaker than it was 2 decades ago. If the objective of the invasion of Afghanistan was to catch and punish the perpetrators of 9/11, the occupation of Afghanistan could have easily ended a decade ago when Osama bin Laden was killed by the US military in Abbottabad, Pakistan. One plausible explanation for continuing the occupation for another 10 years is that the occupation was geostrategically important to control the underbelly of Russia and China. But then if that was the goal, why did the US cut its losses and withdraw now and in such haste? Try as one might, one is left absolutely flabbergasted to find any reasonable explanation for this occupation. All one can say is that it underscores the complete destructive nature of modern capitalist imperialism. Those in the West who think that the Taliban represent some form of anti-imperialist national liberation movement are completely mistaken. The Taliban is composed of the same tribal and reactionary counter-revolutionary elements that were set in motion against the Saur revolution. Collectively called the Mujahideen, they were in fact never a unified group. The Mujahideen was just a label given to 7 different jihadi organizations. These Mujahideen groups not only had certain religious, doctrinal differences, but also were financially tied to different foreign and or neighboring powers. That is what accounts for the civil war after the fall of Dr. Najib's government. Hence, the conflict between the Taliban and the Northern Alliance does not reflect in any sense the conflict between national liberation and imperialism, or between progressive and reactionary forces. They are both cut from the same cloth. In the Doha Agreement, the Taliban and the US had come to the understanding that as long as the Taliban didn't attack any vital US interests in the region, the US would withdraw from the country. In their first press conference since coming to power, the Taliban have stated that they are open to foreign and US investment in Afghanistan. Another powerful factor behind the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan is the way in which the Pakistan military perceives its security challenges. The Pakistan military has always been of the view that the only major and serious existential threat to Pakistan comes from neighboring India. Since 1971, when East Pakistan became independent Bangladesh, that view has been strongly reinforced. Hence, since the very independence of Pakistan, and especially since 1971, the Pakistan military has been positioning itself not only as a defender of Pakistan's borders, but even of its ideological borders. This overriding imperative has led to what progressives in Pakistan refer to as a security state in Pakistan. The Pakistan military has always considered Afghanistan an area of strategic depth. Since the 1970s, they have been meddling in the internal affairs of Afghanistan to bring about a regime that would be, quote-unquote, friendly to Pakistan, so that in the event of the inevitable war with India, the military would have an area of strategic retreat. That is why Islamic radicals began to receive support from the Pakistan government long before the Saur revolution. The relationship between the Pakistan military and the Islamic radicals in Afghanistan stretches back half a century. Hence, the victory of the Taliban is seen in Islamabad as the victory of pro-Pakistan forces in Afghanistan. The pro-Indian Northern Alliance is defeated and the pro-Pakistan Taliban are victorious, or so we are told. For that reason alone, we cannot regard, and the world should not regard, the victory of the Taliban as the victory of any progressive national liberation movement. Taliban can and most likely will slip into the familiar role of regimes that are internally theocratic and reactionary and externally allied to the United States. Take, for instance, Saudi Arabia. For the people of Afghanistan and Pakistan, this change implies that our struggle for a progressive future is being dealt another major blow. The victory of the Taliban in Afghanistan has not only emboldened the religious parties of Pakistan It has also given hope to the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan that has waged a decade-long destructive conflict inside Pakistan that has cost approximately 80,000 lives and millions displaced in massive military operations in FATA and other northern areas. In the long run, however, only the progressive forces of Pakistan and Afghanistan can defeat these reactionaries. No amount of foreign aid, assistance, occupation can or has contributed anything of any real significance in this uphill struggle. Quite the converse. Moreover, calls for the reoccupation of Afghanistan to ostensibly save the women and minorities are not only naive and misplaced, but are ridiculous in the extreme. Enough damage has been done by such narratives that can only be regarded as imperialism in the guise of humanitarianism. In conclusion, the image of desperate Afghans clinging to airplanes in the hopes of escaping the Taliban will forever be etched in the memories of the people of the region as the ignoble end of this occupation. And the way in which they drop from the skies symbolizes the false hope that capitalist imperialism always creates but betrays. The future of Afghanistan and Pakistan can only be determined by the people of our respective countries. We hope for your solidarity in that struggle, but it is our struggle in which history is on our side and victory is inevitable. Thank you.